Welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. Today is a special episode that I'm not going to talk too much about crypto, but it's going to be more about the economy, inflation, gas, milk, eggs, prices going up, how high could they go, the Rule of 72 and how that applies to the present compared to the last recession, and what we can expect and what you can do about it. All coming up next. So I wanted to start today by sharing a few things of prices going back to 2008, which is the most recent recession that people really talk about, and see where the prices were then compared to now. And we're going to talk about gas, milk, and eggs. Three things that people pretty much buy on a regular basis every month, and if not more frequently. Gas often is more frequently. So let's just go and look at some of the prices. So first off, let's start with California prices that I was able to find for gas. So the peak in 2008 in California, all grades. So this is, it's going to be apples to apples. So we're just going to compare the same grades here. So all grades was over 450 in June 2008. Now we know that the prices are just crazy. They're pushing $6 a gallon across all grades in California. So, and just if I just walk through the different stories, you can see how much 2008 inflation is just there. What the 2008 financial crisis tells about today's inflation. Again, people harken back to these days. U.S. inflation sees biggest jump since 2008. This is a story from a year ago. And now we're starting to see, let's see, is this South Carolina? Let's see. I'm in South Carolina. Yes, it is South Carolina. So South Carolina, so we can see gas prices rising to $5 per gallon, when some areas can see $6.50 or $7 gas prices. This is a story from February. So already they were warning back in February how high it could get. This is a story from Yahoo News from just last week, and it's just JP Morgan predicted that if strong consumer demand for gas persists amid the lowest supply of gasoline in 3 years, average prices could surge to $6.20 per gallon by the end of the summer, and then $7 a gallon for gas isn't that far away. New York City gallon of gas is pushing $7 in Manhattan, and the reason the reason that milk and gas and eggs are so important is that they're staples, and we'll talk about that. And also the size of the unit doesn't really change. A gallon of gas is a gallon of gas. Same for milk. Some people buy half gallons and whatnot, but a normal size, like a dozen eggs, a gallon of gas, and a gallon of milk. Those are standard sizes, and you just can't mess with those. You can change the size of a Coke can from 16 ounces down to 12. You can mess with all different sizes of cereal boxes and other products you'll find in the grocery store. But a gallon of gas is a gallon of gas, and I don't need to look inside of that woman's ear anymore. So, I'm going to talk about the $7, and then basically we're $7, and it could be higher. I've heard $8, $9, $10 is reality. Could that be a reality? We'll talk about that when I get done sharing these stories. But first, let's go over milk. Milk, and thank you for the pop-up. So milk prices adjusted for inflation. So going back to 2008, you see this peak. 2008, $3.80 a gallon. Now, let's see. I'm going to have to look up what the average price is. Let's do eggs, then I'll go find. Hold on. Let me pause here, then we can find the price of milk. All right. Don't even notice that I was gone for a minute. So going to the other tab here, I was able to find the retail milk prices report from May of 2022. The average price is $4.33 per gallon. Let me go back to the other chart and see what it was in 2008, $3.80. That seems a little low. That seems a little, we'll see. Eggs, I know eggs are going up. I know chicken's going up. Egg back in 2008, $2 for a dozen. Now, I don't know about you, but let's see the national price right now. It says $2.76 per dozen. I would hazard to guess that it's probably higher. Here we go. So this chart here, this is from, let's scroll up and find it. This is from Egg Market News Report from the USDA. So the red graph is what I'm going to talk about here. Let's get that right lined up. See this red line here, April, May, June. We're looking at between $2.40 and $3 per dozen of eggs. So the prices are going up. And what I really wanted to talk about is first about, let me drop out of this and I'll start sharing about the inflation. Okay, so I talked about milk, I talked about eggs, I talked about gas. And the reason all three of those are important, milk and eggs, everybody buys those. Almost everyone, unless you're lactose intolerant, and can't eat dairy, whatever. But you get the idea. These are staples in most Americans' kitchens, and see what the prices are like. And in reality, the prices could easily double, and we can do the math to get there. And I did this video, I went and found it. I will post it right here. It's what I call the Rule 72, and I used to use that a lot in real estate. But it works to all financial markets. And what it is, you take the number 72 and you divide it by whatever you think the rate is to find out how fast things will double, how things will double. So let's just say you invested in something that was earning 7%. Well, 7 into 72 is roughly 10. So in about 10 years, if you did the calculator, just did 1.1 raised to 1.07 raised to the power of 10, you would get about the number 2. It would double. Now, it also works for cutting in half and so on, but you can go backwards and forwards. But the Rule 72 works pretty much between 1 and 18%, give or take. It gets a little wonky at the ends, but close enough, okay? So Rule 72 at 6%, it would take 12 years. At 7%, about 10. At 8 or 9, it would take 9 or 8 years, and so on. So what am I trying to say? So let's go back. Let's go back to where the original part where I started here, which we went back to 2008, and that's what everyone refers back to. That was 14 years ago. 14 into 72 is 5. A little more, 5 and change. But so 14 years, 5%. So let's just say that the average inflation rate over the last 14 years is 5%. Now, I know that what CPI tells us. I know what other people tell us. I think a conservative number, a very conservative number, is that prices is 5% over those 14 years. And most people can remember back 14 years. Prices have basically doubled, and they're going to double, if not more. So if you go back to that gas price of, I'm going to look real quick again and see what it was. I think it was $4.50 in California. Let's see, where was that chart? Yeah, first chart. That's why I couldn't find it. So the price was $4.53 across all grades of gas. So if that's the standard, okay, if that's the standard at $4.50, and I'm not trying to laugh or make light of this, but if it's $4.50 back in 2008 at 5% interest rate for over 14 years, or 5% inflation rate, $9 a gallon on average is a reasonable expectation, right? But I think it's going to be higher. And yes, milk will go up, eggs will go up. I don't trust the prices that we're saying. I've seen $4 or $5 for a dozen of eggs already. I don't buy milk much, so I don't know what the price is at the market right now. But I would assume it's going to be, $4 a gallon or so. I'll check my local market. Let me go see. Okay, so I looked. The average is about $3.50 across the country. Fortunate that I'm in South Carolina, it's actually less. And unfortunately, I have not seen a huge jump in prices just yet. I'm in a lucky little pocket so far. But just because if you're fine locally, that doesn't mean that you're going to be fine forever. We're going to go back to local things, and you're going to have to work on local relationships. You find those farmers markets now. It's summertime. We're down in June. Go find your local market. Go there once a week. Talk to these people with farms. Find out what they grow. Find out what they have, because you may need these people in the next coming months. And develop those relationships. Find out where the farms are. Yes, they're great. They came to the market, but do they have I'm sure the farmers have go and pick your own. I've picked my own strawberries before. I've gone to apples and blueberries and all other stuff, and it's worth doing. It really is. It saves them some money, and it saves you some money too. Find your local butcher. Find your local markets, your local organic. Everything that's local is going to be more and more important, because I'm going to go back to gas right now. The powers that, they're going to be careful about my words here. The powers that be wanted to keep us very localized for the last 2 years and to restrict our travel. Now, with the ways that they did it for the past 2 years, that's tapering off. We see how that's going. That's pretty much over. We hope. But now they're trying to constrain you again by jacking up the price of gas. And I'm not buying the whole like, go get an electric car, because electric cars can be shut off remotely. And electricity is not a consumable commodity. It takes a commodity to make electricity. And if you want to watch, I'm going to put this out there. I watched this, Joanna told me about a great documentary. I went and found it. It's called Collapse. It was made about 2010 or so. It's really a lot of interesting little facts in there. It barely qualified as a movie. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I think I found it on Pluto TV for free, so go and watch it. It's interesting. It's pretty low budget, but it gets the point across. And it's so funny the different things he talks about, all the different alternative fuels and everything, and how like everything goes back to petrol and ethanol, which is a joke in America, but we put ethanol in our gas. That's why we don't have clear gas. Remember, I did a video, I'll post it up here as well, about clear gas, where I bought pure gas with no ethanol. And you can find those gas stations. And in that video, if you watch that video up here, you can find a list of gas stations where you can buy gas that doesn't have any ethanol in it. And the reason you do that is that the gas will last longer, because ethanol eventually expires. But the funny thing in the movie Collapse, getting back to that, I'm all over the place, but we'll get there. Ethanol costs more money to create than you get from burning the ethanol. So that makes zero sense whatsoever. So imagine you put more effort and work and energy, and however you measure that in calories, whatever you use for measuring that energy you put into it, you put more energy creating a gallon of ethanol than you get from burning a gallon of ethanol. Keep that in mind. So yes, and then when I did the video on the clear gas, the real gas, the pure gas, the no ethanol gas, whatever you call it, I think it was about $4.15 or $4.20 a gallon back then for pure gas. I'm sure it's probably at least $5.50 now, maybe even higher. It was 20% higher than regular gallon of gasoline. Just the 87 level, not even the premium grades. So again, the reason I talk about inflation, I'm not trying to scare you. This isn't about scaring. This is about preparing, right? Go and add, when you go shopping, add a little bit to your cart, because at the worst, and get non-perishable things too. At the worst, you're going to have a little bit more extra food, and the price you pay now is going to be less than you pay in a couple months. So if you stock up a little bit more every time you go to the grocery store, eventually you're going to have a good cache and storage of a supply of extra food in case you need it. And it's always good to have that just in case. Buy things you're going to eat anyway, but buying it now is going to save you money in the long run. You're saving money by buying. If I told you that, if I told you you're going to need this pen in 3 months, and it's going to be $2, but if it's $1 today, you'd probably buy 2 of them today, and you'd have 2 of them, and for the same price you're going to pay in 3 months. So think about it that way. But everything goes back to gasoline, because there's so many products in this world. This world is entirely driven off of gasoline and petroleum, which goes into plastics. It goes into almost everything we have. It's probably, I wouldn't doubt it's probably the plastic in this pen was made from gasoline or petroleum or oil, however you want to say it. So all these different products are made from those things, and the world has become, the economy has been, it's not just about the petrodollar, but it's about the petroeconomy. So lots of things that are out there made from oil. So if you could start to look at things that where they come from, or if they're plastics, or like the price of oil is only going to go up. That's the way it's intended right now, because the oil price is tied to the price of fiat. So that's just the way it's going to go. So be prepared. Don't be scared. Just get used. It's nothing to get used to, but you just know what's coming. You've always wondered, I bet at some point in your life, you always wonder, I wish I could predict the future. Well, now we can. We know the prices of gas are going to be that much higher in the coming months. Prepare accordingly. So I posted a lot of things today. I've said a lot of things. I just want to get this out there about inflation. Looking back to 2008, saying that it's not inconceivable at all that prices from back then can double, if not go higher. So keep all that in mind as you go out there and shop and prepare for the summer. It's going to be a little rough. I understand that. We're all going to get through it. I'm going to be here to help you as much as I can. And of course, if you need any help, all my contact information is in the description of this video. So, lots said today. I close the drawer in the bureau. say follow leader one more time. But before I go, leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Love to get your thoughts on what this content was. So with all that said today, follow leader one last time, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.